God looks down on his creation and sees beauty in everything. There is not a single element he would change, for its existence is enough. The flora, the fauna, the food. Hello, I am the Theorizer, which is to say I devise theories and share them. This is a title I optionally have not lived up to for a few months now because following an unimaginable breakdown in 2021...
My name is Patricia Sanderson! What's your name?
I posted my magnum opus before choosing to take a break from it all. I have calmed way the hell down and repaired significant portions of my scattered psyche trying to live as normally as possible. Trying. Oh, the boredom. I may be calmed, but where's the fun? I may be socializing, but it's f***ing VR chat. And I may be content, but YouTube still slams the shit out of me. I of course have dozens of amazing videos planned similar to those of 2021, all the evidence connections, but cohesively making it into a video, and the requirements of me to watch hundreds of hours of content I don't want to, and for little reward, has delayed such things. Thus, I have chosen to incentivize myself with a Patreon, where you can see my videos early and get shoutouts in Discord and stuff, but I have also decided to share a more contained theory with you today. It's a relatively solid yet entirely whack little conspiracy I've been brewing for about a year now. It pertains to Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and it's more disturbing than anything you'll ever hear about it elsewhere. Shall we begin? This film has a number of bizarre qualities. If you haven't seen my other theories on the matter, I'd highly recommend them, and it'll help you understand my reasoning here a bit better. In fact, this is like the perfect conclusion to those theories. In 2016, I managed to prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that the original Willy Wonka from the 70s did in fact stage literally everything to lure in these specific children, and that he stalked Charlie, so on and so forth. I followed up in 2018 by proving that this also is true for the Tim Burton remake, but beyond that, this film in particular goes so deep with the conspiracy and Wonka's plans that he basically owns half of the world's wealth and has been planning numerous schemes for decades. The film also incorporates the character of Wilbur Wonka, giving a solid reason for Willy's behavior, and in 2019 I even theorized on a very specific dentistry link that permeates the underbelly of this grand Machiavellian malarkey. The level of Wonka's mastermind in the 2005 film is made so explicit by Burton and Depp that there is one singular element which sticks out tremendously, a thorn in my side for the better part of 4.5 years, the Oompa Loompas. Willy Wonka never left his factory following its closure. There is no place called Lumpa Land. This is very distinctly a part of his line, and Mike's dad makes a point about it too. Wonka is hiding something, and you'd think that maybe he's just lying, but we see it. We see Lumpa Land. Then maybe he's just rephrasing what he actually did, going to an undiscovered tribe, but virtually nothing about his story resembles a real experience, and he knows their language right off the bat. This is where I finally ask the question of a lifetime. Is Lumpa Land fake? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. To claim that he created a fake world to mislead his mysterious slaves, we first need to properly establish his track record. The sorts of things he has within his invention room, he's obviously able to create food that alters the eater's genetic code. But we see just how far things go. He's created an entire mountain. He has rooms on top of rooms on top of rooms with just the most unnecessarily complicated creations. Willy Wonka is the most revolutionary figure in the history of the world, having created teleportation, artificial biomes, and yes, Loompa Land. Let's be more specific. What I'm saying is that Loompa Land appears to be a fake world somewhere within the factory, a fake backstory, a theatrical existence where the non-existent bugs have flavored blood, the lore runs thick, and Wonka suspiciously denies everything. And in much the same manner as his other grand conspiracies, I pray for the day I find this room in the corner of a shot, but for now, proof can be found in the edible garden room, which functions in much the same way as a sort of unnecessarily theatrical biome. The Oompa Loompas are completely unaware of this, but it seems as though their original culture even revolves around the same lore as his creations, and the edible room is essentially the Garden of Eden, which brings me to the ultimate revelation, dear viewers. This is the key to all of my theorizing. Willy Wonka has created life. The Oompa Loompas come from the factory, nowhere else. Am I being absurd? No, not in the slightest. Let's see. How do these creatures reproduce? They are all replicas of the same guy. It's not physically possible. Speaking of which, they are all replicas of the same guy. Like a cookie cutter, assembly line creating the perfect servants, small, inconspicuous subhuman creatures. Not only are they clones, but they are borderline robotic, as they sing and dance on cue in perfect unison. Nothing about them screams human. In fact, Mike questions this, and Wonka does his mumbler dismissal so as to imply conspiracy. He says, "Of course they're real people." And yet, he allows them to swim in his chocolate, right after claiming that it must be untouched by human hands. Tim Burton, at it again. They are sterile, like analog instruments with which the factory can operate. They were designed for this. They are Oompa Loompas. Oompa, Oompa, Oompa. It's literally another word for rhythmic beat. They worshipped the core of the factory, the cocoa bean. They were created for this. Finally, the most damning evidence I could find was so obvious and bizarre that it scared me half to death when I clicked. The Puppet Hospital and Burn Center. It was so awkward for Wonka introducing this. Why would they need this for a one-time gig of melting robots? It's simple, really. The Oompa Loompas are Wonka's creations, just as the puppets are. They feel for them. They feel for them, and treating them with dignity is the only way to dignify their own existence. They worship the cocoa bean because Wonka force-fed them disgusting caterpillars as he looks upon them like a god would his creation. He created these beings and did so rapidly within his chocolate factory. But I'm sure you can digest all of this. Sure, it could make sense. Well, get a load of this shit, because there's only one poetic conclusion to all of this. They swim amongst themselves. They worship the creator of their own image. They wear wrappers to preserve their palatable, flavorful center. He keeps escalating his science. You've heard the theory that Wonka and his staff are eating the children. Oh, you sweet, innocent viewers. It's the other way around. The Oompa Loompas are sentient chocolate. This is a chocolate factory. What did you expect? He hints at it almost constantly, and this is perfectly in line with Tim Burton's notorious implementation of conspiracy parodies. They are cookie-cutter creatures, just like we see in the intro sequence. His Garden of Eden, creations and obsessions so deep. This is why he fired his human staff. His final ambition, the role of God. This was suspicious to me at first. I mean, there's no genuine proof that Willy Wonka is capable of producing living chocolate, and it would come completely out of left field and make no sense, except for the genuine proof that Willy Wonka is capable of producing living chocolate in a scene that comes completely out of left field and makes no logical sense. Grandpa Joe calls him a real genius. I watch this scene and ponder, what came of this? How is this possible? You all see now. This is real. He is the father he never had. He has created a tasty team and is trying to keep them docile, despite his constant abuse and lies. The metaphors are clear as day, but actions have consequences, and this brings me to my final point. Notice how Wonka uses the kids to test his science. Most strikingly, he literally tries turning Augustus into chocolate. Sound familiar? He uses Veruca to test squirrel intelligence, Violet to test gum, and then the grand finale hits you. He uses Mike to test his teleportation machine, a tiny TV filled with Oompa Loompas. It's all a part of the plan. It's the final step. Unleash his creation upon the world. Truly show his father what he can do. But he's put them through suffering. Suffering worse than the likes of his own father. They know. They are here to rise up, and this is why Charlie has won nothing but pain. Wonka's plans were shot to shit with the reintroduction of his own father, but the Oompa remains. They are coming. This is where it all cuts off. I haven't seen the film in months, and I need more evidence and counter-evidence. Just make sure to comment, because it's possible I'm opening Pandora's box here, and maybe my break was a good thing. So, the Oompa Loompas are artificially intelligent chocolate about to rise up against their creator and then the world at large. I want to be clearer about my recent hiatus. I made videos unceasingly through a very bizarre, genuine psychotic breakdown during the back half of 2021, which I recovered from around the time of baby Smitty, at which point I realized I needed to take a break, so I did. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't like it when you do this, and it faced me with the fragility of my channel being a source of, well, income in particular. I had to resort to reopening my Patreon, where I am now providing a long list of rewards. Essentially, you subscribe on there, and for a small monthly fee, I give you a a ton more content. Early ad-free videos, sneak peeks, exclusive content, shoutouts in my theories, access to my official Discord where all the fans and myself chat constantly, theory submissions, and you can even game with me and the other patrons whenever. Considering Mort Part 24 is coming up next, if you want those sneak peeks. Also, I just need help, that is all. Sit on the fact that I've flipped Oompa Loompas upside down in such a short time span. Until next time, I'm the Theorizer. And a special shout out to Alexis, the godly patron.